folks. Welcome back to this podcast. Way! Thanks for coming back. If you have listened to this podcast before and you have returned, then this one's for you. Shout out to you, and you specifically. Jamie. Kyle. Yep. Xavier. What's some more male names? Because our audience is 90-something% male.
but they're from Seattle, so you got to think of American names.
Oh my god, ear rape.
What?
Holy shit.
That's not loud.
Your mouth is right on top of the microphone. It needs to be
told me
turned
to
all
do
the way
that.
down. Yeah, no, it should be approximately 5 centimeters away from the microphone.
How's that? Are we okay now?
Ooh, gorgeous. Now that Xavier and Brent and David or whatever have come back, and now that you've blown their ears off, now we can continue.
Now they never have to listen to us ever again. I've done them a
now that
favor.
they can't listen to us because they're deaf, we'll carry on. We've got some stuff coming up today. It's a more chilled out podcast, just chatting, hanging out with the bros. You know how it is. I've got some hot takes that I wanted to run past Judd, see what he thinks about them. I've watched a movie and a TV series that I wanted to kind of talk about a bit and get Judd's thoughts on. And then we're going to plan our funerals.
Finally, I've got some fucking stuff I need to lay down so people know what I want. Yeah. I'm glad you've given me this opportunity, actually.
I thought this was actually a good idea to do this. Because if we actually die, people can look back on that and actually go, well, that's easy. We know exactly what they want. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool, pretty sweet, pretty rad. But first, Judd, what you been up to? What you been doing?
Oh, same old fucking nothing.
Any more experiments on your bowels, Judd? Because
nothing.
You recently discovered that Coca-Cola is the thing that was setting your horrid stomach ailment off.
Yeah, I do think that actually stress is having a bit of a play on it, but not as much as Coca-Cola. I honestly do think that Coca-Cola was the biggest culprit.
So do you think that, have you not done any experiments on Pepsi or off-brand Coke and things like that?
Yeah, no, I'm good with Fanta. We're getting Fanta in.
Fanta's fine, okay.
Yeah, so...
Lemonade, what about Sprite? You tried Sprite?
I'm alright. I think I have had Sprite. I think I'm okay.
I think
Sprite's okay.
I think you should set aside an evening, be like, right, got no plans here.
Shall I just do
shit my guts out, then we're fine, right? And then you should drink Pepsi that evening and see if that makes a difference.
I don't like Pepsi. I'd just rather not drink Pepsi.
Wow. That's a bold claim. Do you know what? I've been drinking slightly more Pepsi than Coke recently because it's just a bit cheaper and, times are tough. And I'm kind of coming round to it.
Listen,
I like it.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a soda bigot or anything. I get it. I understand why people prefer the taste of Pepsi to Cola, but I've just never been a fan personally.
It reminds me of the cinema too much. If I'm doing, that thing where you're like, right, I'm committing to watching this movie. I'm going to watch a movie at home. I'm going to turn off all the lights, shut the curtains. I'm going to get a bag of popcorn and a drink, and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to give myself a bit of a cinema experience. For me, it's got to be sweet popcorn, not toffee, because toffee popcorn is way too sickly. Fuck toffee popcorn. I'd rather have salted, but also not salted popcorn. Sweet popcorn is what you need. And then also Pepsi. Not Coke, because that's what you get at the cinema. You get a big thing of Pepsi, don't you? So that kind of sets off the cinema experience a bit more, you see. Thoughts?
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
I don't care.
I don't, yeah. Shall I tell you something else I don't care for?
Sure.
There are certain type of people. There are certain range of people.
Oh God.
That's right, the elves. I'm not enjoyed the Lord of the Rings show.
Well, that is one of the ones that I have been watching. And you know what? As of recording this, episode 4 of season 1 is out, and I have to say, up at the first 3 episodes, I was like, I'm not enjoying this. But I'm kind of willing to stick with it a bit, because in theory, it should be really good. And technically, it looks great. Some of the acting's pretty damn good. the effects are really good, things like that. But then, like, halfway through episode 4, I'm just like, you know what? I'm out. It was when,
you know what?
It might be the exact same moment. See if it is, right? It was the moment when the Elrond, who doesn't look anything like Elrond, the elf, has gone to visit the dwarf and they're hiding something. And he's dug up a new ore and he goes, it's called this in our tongue, but to you, it's something like mithril. And he's like, no. It's mithril, and I was like, "All right, fuck you."
It wasn't that bit actually. It was, you know how I don't know. I think you would have made it to this. I think this was before that scene. Galadriel's been like locked up for chatting shit to the region of the racy styles. Which, by the way, that whole thing that they're getting upset about is just ridiculous. One elf has shown up who wants to leave. She's literally shown up and gone, look, I want to go. I don't get what that's about. But she gets thrown in this like little fucking prison cell and she's going to be taken away. And 4 fully grown men in full plate armor surround her. And one guy goes to put shackles on, and I swear to God, she throws up this guy's arms while he's got the chains, and he comically goes, "Whoa!" and trips up over himself. And then the camera pans to this dude that she's with and this other fucking guy, and they say a couple things, and then the next shot is her like pushing 3 of these, all of these fully grown men into this prison cell. And she somehow closes the door. She doesn't have the key on her, so I don't know how that door stays locked.
I don't think this did happen, to be honest, in the bit that I've seen.
It did.
But like,
okay, well, it does happen in the episode.
I'm not watching it anymore.
Yeah, I saw that and I just went, "What the fuck?" But literally, she just grab his arms. All right. Here's the thing, though, because I know I'm not going to sit here and go, "Oh, Galadriel like can't fuck up 4 dudes," but the thing is. You expect it in the way like if she was sword fighting them, or something like that.
Or using agility rather than like some weird superhuman strength, something that suits elves and especially like a more small and nimble female elf that can pull off some sick skills or some shit,
Because I know Galadriel can fuck people up, but she doesn't fuck people up in the way that she can throw about 4 fully grown men in plate mail.
That comes across as lazy, and that you can't think of a way that someone who isn't just big, strong, burly man can do something cool.
She literally, it's like a skit from Three Stooges. It cuts away. These guys have a little bit of a conversation where this guy's like, "I wouldn't do that if I was you," and this other guy was like, "Well, what should I do? Just let the elf go." And then it cuts back, and it's honestly, they might as well be making the Three Stooges noise of them like going. One
of the things for me is
flipping over each other and falling in.
It's like Fawlty Towers. It's like...
Yeah, it is. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Oh my God. But I just find it super hard to give a shit about anything that's happening.
Yeah.
Because obviously nothing big can happen. And I was talking to Cal about this yesterday because we were playing a lot of games and he's the friend of mine who's into Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And apparently, Adurin is a type of dwarf that's like a dwarf Jesus, basically.
Yeah.
And there's a shit ton of them within the same time frame because of this show. And they're supposed to exist once in every, 5 to 10,000 years. And it just don't make sense with the rules that they've set up. But also, loads of other stuff's all fucked to do with that. And I spoke to him about something that I'm not as versed in Lord of the Rings lore as he is, so I weren't certain. But Celebrimbor... should be dead. I confirmed it with him. He should be dead. He shouldn't be alive.
I talked to Sam about this, who is my friend who's really into Lord of the Rings, and he said that no, this is when Celebrimbor's supposed to be around. The Shadow of War lore is apparently different from canon Lord of the Rings lore.
No, he's wrong, and I can prove it because
is it the other way around?
It's the other way around because it's quite well known that this show doesn't have the rights to the Silmarillion book because Tolkien's son still has them and he refused to sell it to him. So technically, this whole show isn't even canon.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to make it different to that for law reasons, for like real world law, like court of law reasons.
Not LORE, as in LAW.
Yeah, as in the one that actually fucking can sue you.
Yeah,
so
the one that actually matters. So you nerd.
if this show was canon, they would be sued. So it can't be canon legally.
Okay.
So
right, fair enough.
So it's all it's like, not only is it set in a time frame where I can't give a shit about the story because I know everything's going to be kind of fine by the end of it, but legally I can't give a shit because legally it's nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, even though it is kind of, but not really.
The other thing that pisses me off as well is, I swear to God, 50% of this show is them talking about something that's already happened.
Exactly.
Fucking Galadriel's whole thing, her whole arc, is centered around something that's already happened. Early in that episode, like you say, when that dwarf guy's pissed off because he wants to mine Mithril and there's like a cave in, and his dad's like, "No, stop it, not good for you." Immediately to comfort him, fucking what's his face, the elf twink whose name I can never remember, is immediately like, "Well,
it's Elrond. He's an incredibly important, prestigious elf that everyone just thinks is a twink who looks like Neil Patrick Harris now because of the casting that they've got."
He's like, well, I remember when my father was in the Battle of Grafnishila. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh god, it's like, shut up. And half of it's stuff that I think it must be references like that are for people who are insanely into Lord of the Rings lore, and like some nerd who read half a paragraph about that once in 1996. It's like, oh my god, they finally mentioned my favourite battle from the extensive universe of Lord of the Rings. And maybe it's that, who knows? I don't think it is. I think the rest of the show's got sloppiness in areas that makes me think they've not put that much detail into it. But they're either talking about shit that is like, what's that? And that's all not happening, that happened ages ago. Or they're trying to be like, remember Lord of the Rings? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why the bit where there was like Mithril showing up, I was like, that's too many references to Lord of the Rings to me. Show me this story. What's happening now?
Yeah. I like how, because Game of Thrones is the other big thing that's out right now, isn't it? Like when it comes to fantasy, especially. So, the comparison that I find funny with House of Dragons to Rings of Power is that when in Rings of Power they're like, oh, we're bringing something up about Lord of the Rings, all of the fans start like shitting and pissing themselves because it's like, it's Lord of the Rings. But you go to House of the Dragons, and the second that somebody like brings something up to do with Game of Thrones, everybody's immediately like, can you not mention that dog shit? Please, we're enjoying this one.
But that's the thing. That's all that these types of shows that are like prequel spin-offs end up being.
Yeah,
and it's crap.
I will. I'm going to be fair to House of the Dragons. It's actually been very good, and they've only done that once so far.
To be honest,
whereas this show must have done it like 10 times per episode.
All I've heard is that it's courtroom drama and fucking who's going to shag who, who's going to marry who, what's the consequence of that. There's been barely any action, and I saw the one action scene where I think it's Matt Smith's character, I'm not fully sure, gets shot at with some arrows, and they've got a whole army and they're sending 3 guys at him at once. It's like, what? Come on.
I'll be honest. There is a lot of courtroom drama, but it's not all courtroom drama.
It sounds shit to me. I'm not watching it
There's
anyway.
some good interactions. You don't fine. Like I'm not. I don't care enough about Game of Thrones either to sit here and be like, you should be watching this show.
But speaking of shit, Judd.
Okay.
And shit cinema.
Piqued my attention.
You have you Jordan Peele, the director Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
From the famous YouTube comedy duo Keen and Peele.
Keen and Keen.
Keen and Peele. Is that how you pronounce it? Is it Keen and Peele? Is that what they were? Or am I pronouncing one of them wrong? No, that's right. No, Key and Peele. That's right, Key and Peele. Because Key now is not anywhere near as famous as Jordan Peele. Anyway, his movies suck. Did you see Get Out, his debut that I think won him an Oscar?
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't see it. I
didn't
saw
see it, no.
with Cal, and good God, it's shit. I gave Get Out. We have a spreadsheet where we rate movies and TV, by the way, out of 100, and I gave Get Out 21. 21 out of 100. Because the acting was good.
Cool. Because I know you didn't like it, but did you watch Nope?
Well, this is what I was going to talk about.
Leading? Is this okay?
It is leading there, but he also did Us. A movie
and
Us.
I did watch Us, and I didn't mind it that much.
So Us,
not really.
I gave 26 out of 100.
I think it was 26. I would have.
I don't know what it was about it. I feel like I should give it another go because I feel like it's probably better than that. But I just could not enjoy it. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it enough to say that you have to watch it again to give it, a fair trial. I mean, you gave it 43 out of 100.
yeah. No, like, I'm like, it's not great or anything.
Well, I gave Us. So Get Out, I gave 21 out of 100. My main problem with that is, people think it's fucking brilliant. Rotten Tomatoes critics give it 98. Audience gives it 86. IMDb gives it 77. It's trash. It's nothing fucking happens. Like, I don't know. What happened in that movie? And don't give me some answer that you've got because it's been explained after the fact. I can't imagine anyone watches that movie without seeing anything else about it. Going in raw, they've never heard of it. They watch that movie, and they're like, they will not know what's going on. I can't believe that anyone would know what's going on if they haven't heard that it's about, some sort of social commentary already.
Is it about a social commentary? Because I was like, there's some clones and they want to...
No, you're thinking Us. I'm talking Get Out, the first
one. Okay. No, I don't know because I didn't watch it.
It's bonkers. It's stupid and overly artsy and just... But people because it's been explained and kind of... Even in the build-up to it coming out, I heard what it was about. Behind the scenes, what it's actually about. Because that's the thing. This guy makes movies that aren't meant to be stories to be enjoyed. They're meant to be a social commentary with, representation in the movies that are representing things that he wants to say.
They were interviewing him and they said, Mr. Peel, what is your movie actually about? And he was hugging a big teddy bear and he said, white people scary.
Because that's what it does come across as. And it kind of basically is that. I don't know. That's what it seems like. That, but in a more eloquent and poignant way, apparently. But this is the thing. I fucking hate his films. They're so terrible because I don't understand. It seems like you don't understand movies as stories. They're a way of telling stories. That's what cinema is. Now, what I will say is, I suppose, it doesn't have to be. You can use the medium of cinema to try and artistically get across a point relevant to some sort of social commentary. You could do that, but fuck you if you do. Because it makes your movie so shit. And it makes it not make any sense. I hate it. I hate doing that. So Get Out, 21.
Get out of the fucking cinema, am I right?
I don't really even understand what the concept is massively. It's that there's a woman who hypnotizes people, and it's not even clear why she does it.
They want the bodies, right? They want their
in Get Out.
Beautiful in Get Out. Yeah, they want their beautiful, perfect black bodies. I mean, to be fair, if I could got
a clue. This is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, if I could transfer my soul into that of a 6.5 foot tall, gorgeous, ripped black man, I would. I gotta say, if I had the power to do that, I would do that.
Equally, if I could transfer my body into a 6'2", ripped any body.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even have to be ripped. I just want to be 6 foot 2.
I just want to be 6'2" and ripped. That'd be great. Why 6'2"? I don't know. But
I don't know, just not 5-5.
so anyway,
just
I will get on to Nope in a minute. But so next there's Us. I thought Us was better because it's a better concept. Get Out, I just didn't even know why we were watching it. I didn't know where anything was heading, what the story even was. It were just a bunch of scenes. That like some of them were wacky looking, some were kind of normal. And if anyone wants to argue with me on Twitter about this, tweet at tweetsbadly, because fine, you can tell me why I'm wrong. I don't mind. Us, it is a lot better concept. I like the idea of some sort of creatures trying to replace you, basically. They look exactly like you, they kill you.
It's always been a tried and true like movie concept, that like It Lifts and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's a tried and true concept.
So it's not massively original, but it's good, and I liked the kind of imagery around it. But I don't know. I just didn't get on with it. There was something about it. I think maybe it was too slow, because these movies are really slow. I don't know what it is about it. Didn't get on with it. But once again, interesting concept, but pulled off really bad. And that's the theme of Nope as well. Because what was happening was that there's aliens.
There are aliens.
And
and they say, don't worry, concept, Jordan Peele, we're scared of white people too.
God, this is jokes, it's all jokes, don't take it too seriously. It's fine.
I'm not joking, I'm scared of white people as well.
And there's aliens? That's kind of it. I don't know, man. No, the concept is that rather than it being aliens like in a spaceship abductive people, the thing that's abducting them is the alien. And it's quite a cool design for it and things like that. But it's so fucking slow. It's so slow. It took an hour and a half before anything really even started happening in this 2 hour and 15 minute or whatever it was movie.
Did you like the subplot of the boy who worked in entertainment and the monkey went mad and started killed all the people who were working on that show with?
Well, I get why that was there. But it didn't need to be there 4 times. There was the guy flashbacked to the ape killing people 4 times because the movie was so slow. It had to keep reminding you that he had this experience because it took forever between scenes with him in it. So it's one of those, right, where there's so much that just I find so annoying about films like that I can't even begin to talk about it. When I was kind of watching it and thinking about it, I was thinking, right, this movie is so stupid and I find these stuff like this so annoying. There'll be all sorts to talk about on the podcast to do with it. But now I've got to it, I'm like, there's just too much. I can't even begin to talk about it. There's too much. I think that an annoying thing about it and a good kind of big thing to point out when it comes to movies like this is at the beginning of the film, you hear a radio talking about some hikers that have gone missing in the area that these horse ranchers live in. Now, when I say you hear that, if you're lucky, you hear it, because the audio in this movie fucking sucks. And I didn't notice it until I watched a video afterwards explaining the fucking plot. And by the way, if you have to watch a video that's explaining the plot of the movie, that movie has fucking failed. Okay? So I was watching that, and apparently you hear that and later, after a little bit, some stuff starts falling from the sky. This is in the first 10 minutes of the film. And kills some dude by stuff falling from the sky. And the thing that kills the guy is a coin, some money. Now, that can only be, realistically, if we're being honest, that's symbolism for how money will, get you eventually, or, money's a bad thing, really, or, a commentary on, greed, capitalism within Hollywood. Yeah? Because this is the type of shit that he does and thinks is good. Now, that doesn't really make much fucking sense. Why was it a coin? Why was it a coin and a key? Why wasn't it, a compass? So that if you'd just managed to catch that radio earlier about the hikers, and a compass has fallen from the sky, ooh, them hikers going missing is kind of linked to that, maybe. But it's still subtle enough to where you might not even catch that. But so what he's done is he's sacrificed a through line of plot. He's sacrificed plot integrity and the story being better and links within the story for bullshit fucking commentary on stuff that I don't give a shit about. I've come to watch a fucking movie. I'm not listening to a political fucking debate. So that's the type of thing that I don't like. I give it 23 out of 100. It's better than Get Out, because Get Out barely even has a plot. But Nope's plot is just shit and badly executed, and a lot of it's sacrificed for stupid commentary.
You know, it's weird, isn't it? Because I feel like you can have political commentary and stuff, just like, if there's just actual substance to the show itself. Like, I was thinking about this when I was watching Rings of Power earlier. And when I said as a joke the racist aisles earlier that like just seem to be racist because it's in fashion.
Yeah.
When the guy was like, there's some guy who's obviously wanting to make some sort of like five for power, and he's like, oh, the elves, don't worry, I'll sort the elves out, and everybody's like, yeah, and like. I can tell right now that they're doing like a Trump thing, or they're trying to do some sort of a racist thing, because it's so on the nose and it's so like just without foundation. Like they're getting mad over nothing so that they can have this. Oh, we're doing a thing about racism, but yet in The Boys. They literally had essentially what was a Trump rally. Like that was basically a Trump rally in The Boys.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice it. Actually, it was you that said to me in your review of the second season of The Boys, you were like, I didn't like that whole political thing they were doing. And I literally sat there and I went, what political thing they were doing? Because I don't remember it, because there's so much in The Boys that's enjoyable that, like, even when you literally have...
like, makes sense in a story. Noticing it is the point. Like, if you're not noticing that something is kind of artsy and trying to make a social commentary, you feel the right way towards it. And it hits so much harder and makes something more enjoyable that you're going to remember for years to come. It's ridiculous. It's like how in Rings of Power they've made it so that certain races have multiple skin tones to them, like black elves and black dwarves and things like that. And that's at the sacrifice of certain storylines that are within that universe of racial conflict, which make a lot of sense within that universe. They're not kind of sacrificing any plot at all, and it teaches an incredibly important lesson to not be racist. But you can't then have all the skin tones be mixed within those races, because then you lose those important plots that teach people important things and are an amazing story, so the story even sticks around forever as well. That is the most powerful, important media, when you have something that does have social commentary, doesn't sacrifice the plot for it, then that's fantastic. But you have to, as with every single time I talk about a film, or a game, or a TV show, or a fucking audiobook, the story has to come first. No matter what, even if you're not trying to write the best story in the world, you have to write the best story in the world to do whatever else you're trying to do with the medium. You have to, otherwise nothing else hits. Like, if the story of Nope was really good, then all the details and the social commentary behind it would be amazing as well. But because it's kind of bullshit and stupid and like don't make that much sense, everything else seems so silly.
Yeah.
So just make sure, if you're gonna try and put social commentary in any sort of media, make it a cracking story first, and once you've nailed that, then do your best to put social commentary in it as well. You're welcome, Hollywood. We solved it. It works the same with representation as well. I'm still so pissed that they didn't have trans actors as the lady dwarves and gave them beards. That'd be so fucking good. That'd be just fucking perfect. Think of how much trans like representation you could have had in a massive budget show by having trans lady dwarves with beards. That'd be fantastic.
I was just gonna say, how much work do they get? Like, like actually how much work do you think transsexual dwarves is like? Is it little people? I feel like little people's derivative.
I don't.
When
I
I
don't
say
know what the
little,
right
I don't
term
know
is
what the
for it.
correct way. But how much work do they actually get in acting?
They probably get
Like-
quite a bit, you know, to be honest.
Do they?
Because the
Oh,
people
well.
who play dwarves in, it's quite a specific niche that needs filling reasonably regularly. I know they get a lot of pantomime work, for example.
Right.
But,
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say.
what I mean more. I don't think the dwarves in Lord of the Rings are little people or small people or dwarves or whatever they're supposed to be called.
I think a lot of them are.
I don't think they are. I think they're regular actors because the proportions wouldn't be right for what like the fancy dwarves. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. I'm not certain on that. But regardless, right? I think one of the least represented kind of minority groups in film media is probably trans actors. Like when's the last time you saw someone who started off as male and has transitioned to female in any movie or TV show?
The only one I've seen recently was in the Umbrella Academy, and that was more.
No, well, that was done
the,
not very well, weren't it?
Yeah, that was
That was
more
to fit the actor,
needs
not the
of,
character.
yeah.
Whereas in this, you could have had multiple female dwarves played by people who used to be men and have transitioned to a woman. It would have been so good. Come on, get on it. Come on, sort it out. Anyway, that's commentary on that. That's some of my hot takes already.
But is it
things.
what movie is it that's like? This movie is about a transsexual woman. I think it was. It's like or it was a man. I don't know. It was a transsexual. I can't remember. If it was man to female or female to male. But it was like, oh, okay, cool. Who are you going to have playing the trans character then? Oh, Scarlett Johansson. It's like, why? Why not just get a trans actor?
And people weren't happy with that, and rightfully so. People were really not happy with that, and of course, rightfully so. Get a trans actor, but even with this, like, I don't know, it's just a stupid, like, they're trying to represent different skin tones, which could negatively impact some story elements. Just in this context, right? Representing all skin tones in movies and media is a good thing. But in this context, it could sacrifice some good story elements. Having said that, it might not matter because there's plenty of other good story elements they could use. But, so they've done that, but just give them fucking beards. I just want lady dwarfs to have beards. That's my main thing, because, like, they're supposed to. Even within this universe, they're supposed to. In the Lord of the Rings movies, they mention them having beards, I'm pretty sure. Anyway,
He does, because he shows, I can't remember, because again, I don't care too much about Lord of the Rings, but I know for a fact there's a scene where some dwarf's like looking at like a locket, and it's got a picture of like his son and his wife, and somebody else is like, oh, who are these two gentlemen that you're looking at? It's like, well, that's my son and that's my wife. So I know for a fact that because they both got massive beards, like
this might be Mandela effect. I'm not sure, but
no. I'm sure that's either in one of like the Hobbit movies, or I'm pretty sure it's a Hobbit movie that it's in.
It could be. Could be. I've just looked up Lady Dwarf beard, and there's someone who's cosplayed one, and she's got ginger hair, she's got like a nose ring in, and she's got a beard with like the little like decorations that dwarves would put on and everything like that. Yeah. And it looks fucking perfect. That would be amazing. It looks really cool. God. Sort it out. Anyway, moving on. I've got some more hot takes, right? And I want to get your thoughts on these hot takes, Judd. If we don't get around to planning our funerals in this episode, we'll do it in another one. But I've got some more hot takes for you.
Go on.
So I posted these on Twitter. Drone light shows are better than fireworks. Thoughts?
Yeah, because like it's for me. I think that is the constant sort of coordinated effort of all those drones. Because like Is it on a predetermined flight path, or are people like controlling them?
They're pre-programmed.
Oh well, I don't know then. See, I was thinking maybe they have to like.
Fireworks are pre-programmed.
Yeah,
They
are right.
program them on a computer and they're set off at the right time. Plus, fireworks, they go up and they blow up. And some they blow up in different shapes and stuff generally. And I know at Disney they can blow up in the shape of like a Mickey Mouse, but drones can do fucking anything. It's so fucking cool. They're massive and they can like go, whoo, shape of a cock, whoo, shape of your mum, whoo, shape of the cock going into your mum. I don't know why that's what I came up with. But it's so cool, and it don't fucking set dogs off, and you know how much I hate dogs barking. However, that's a dog problem, that's not fireworks' fault. But I'm not a fan of just pew, pew, pew. I don't really like the loud noise of fireworks that much.
I was just gonna say my argument was gonna be, but yeah, Jake, some of them make a really big.
That's not my main problem with fireworks, though, because I kind of see how that's kind of the appeal to some people. And this isn't that I dislike fireworks. I just think a drone light show's more impressive. They can do more impressive things, like just cooler looking shapes, and they can, like, move as well. They can, the thing that they've made a shape of can, like, do something, you know?
Yeah,
and it can be big and in the sky. They're just a bit better.
I'll give you it. I think I could agree with that, yeah.
Because I think... Is there anything else that's comparable to these two things?
I don't know. Big shows in the sky. I don't know. The only
shows.
I was just gonna say that's not comparable, really, is it? Because that's like people actually up there, like performing these feats. That's like
that would be even cooler, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I do think drone light shows are better. But I think the problem with it is that anytime there's not many times where you just use fireworks for fun in general. It's normally like a tradition for it to be fireworks. So like, there's like 4th of July in America and then Bonfire Night here. And I wouldn't replace either of those with a drone light show because it don't fit as well for the reason you're celebrating. Because America, it's like freedom from us, basically, which is to do with a war, so they want the big kind of explosions as part of it. And then for us, it's celebrating the fact that we caught a guy trying to blow up a building with politicians in. So then we blow up a bunch of stuff and burn an effigy of the guy. That's a weird one. I think we should get rid of that holiday. Maybe we get rid of that one and then do drone light show holiday.
No, I like the whole making an effigy of a guy and throwing him on a bunch of fire. I love that.
I think we should just have a different effigy and burn a different guy. Who should we burn on a fire for Bonfire Night instead?
How about Ian Watkins' vicious paedophile? How about that instead of, dude that was upset with the monarchy?
What? Ian Watkins?
He was the frontman for a band known as Lost Prophets, and he was a mega child rapist,
convicted sex offender, and former singer-songwriter and musician. Oh dear.
Yeah,
we could. I was just about to say something that might have got me taken away by the police because it's to do with a certain royal. Maybe we'll not do that one. But you get the idea. I think we should burn someone else. I think fucking Guy Fawkes, right? He was trying to blow up a bunch of Tories, I think.
Yeah, listen, like these were actually like terrible people though that were like, abusing the power and shit.
And that's the thing. We celebrate the fact that the guy that was trying to stop them abusing the power got caught.
Yeah, got caught by the people abusing the power. And now, and now we throw effigies of him onto a fire.
It's a weird one.
I love it.
I love that holiday. It's one of those
holiday.
holidays where no one knows why it's celebrated. Like Christmas, kids still pretty much know it's some Jesus stuff. But Bonfire Night, no one knows really. And the kids don't know why we're doing that. We just have a big fire and have some fireworks. Yeah, if we change the meaning of it, I'm willing to keep it, but anyway. Here's one for you. I know you're not going to agree with this one. Vegetarian sausages are better than normal sausages.
Yeah, no, that's just wrong.
It's true. They're better.
I think I think saying a vegetarian anything's better than the real meat version is just wrong.
Yeah, the problem I have with normal sausages is they're like all the offcuts of a pig that weren't made into like lamb chops or not lamb chops, pork chops and bacon
it's pig
belly
refuse.
pork and and then it's shoved in an intestine, the place where they have their shit.
No, dude, come on! You can't sit there one episode of a podcast and go, I think I'd like to eat haggis, and then go, yeah, but sausages are weird. Like,
no, listen. I love sausages still, regular ones. Don't get me wrong. That refuse and intestines is delicious, but it's just a bit more gross and kind of like greasy and gristly than vegetarian ones, which have like they've taken specific time to like season the vegetarian ones nicer because they have to make it have some flavour. So they've picked the flavours are more hand selected and a bit nicer and cleaner and. The problem is vegetarian sausages vary a lot, so it depends which one you've got as to which flavour's good, though. Quorn ones are the best ones I've had so far, but I genuinely think that they just taste. It's just a nicer experience to eat. I feel kind of gross after I've eaten a normal sausage. That's not to say that I dislike them or that maybe a third of the time I might prefer normal sausage. But
fucking sausage down your gullet, you can't do
it. Do you even like vegetarian sausage at all?
No, I don't. I have tried it. I don't like it.
Why?
In fact, I'd say that vegetarian sausage is the worst thing of like vegetarian stuff I've tried. I think your mum was it your mum or Natalie used Quorn something one time, and it was like all right. Like I could tell
Natalie who used some Quorn chicken nuggets. And it was at a Christmas time, and I remember. We were tasting them, and we tasted them and real chicken ones because she'd done some vegetarian ones for her and some meat ones for everyone else. And we just had a taste of hers just to try it, see how good they were. And I swear to God, her vegetarian ones tasted more like chicken than our supposedly chicken ones.
They were pretty good. I remember them being pretty good, but that's the only like Quorn thing I remember being pretty good.
When it comes to vegetarian meats, chicken nuggets is the best. Like, there's some places who've got them to taste exactly like chicken because chicken's a really easy taste to replicate. All sorts of stuff tastes like chicken. Quorn, vegetarian minced beef is pretty good. It just kind of takes on whatever spices that you use with it. So a lot of the time, it's even better than beef to use in cooking. I prefer actual beef in something like a lasagna where you want to taste the beef. But when you, for example, Mexican cooking, if you're using minced beef for Mexican cooking where it's got lots of spices added to it, things like that, I prefer Quorn. I prefer vegetarian one because it holds on to the spices and doesn't like.
I was just going to say that meat there really is to hold on to all the spices and all those sort of flavorings instead of being the sort of meal itself, isn't it?
Yeah. So but. And then vegetarian sausage, I will say is it's probably after that in the order of what's best of vegetarian alternatives. But I just think sausage is reasonably far down in what meats I like as well. So I just prefer vegetarian sausage most of the time. But what the worst meat alternative is to me is vegetarian bacon. It's just not it.
I've not tried it, but I can see that being quite foul.
Because bacon's so good. And it just doesn't even come close. So, here's a hot take that I know you agree on, actually. An MMO style mouse over any other style of mouse.
They're just fucking better. Like there's exactly. in every game that you use, just having little buttons on the side of your mouse are just they're just so fucking useful.
And a lot of people use Logitech G Pro Wireless. This is like one of the most common like mouses that like top end people use, right? Mm. And it does have buttons on the side. It's got, from what I can tell, it's got 2 on each side, 2 on the left and then 2 on the right. Now, I don't want to be pressing buttons with my pinky finger. That's not ergonomical. So that feels kind of weird. So you don't want them on the right hand side. You only want them on the left. And the problem with the Logitech G Pro is it's only got 2 buttons. It's only got 2 buttons on the side of the mouse. That's not many.
No.
The one I've got's got 12. Like, they're just little buttons. So I don't get it. I don't understand what the disadvantage of having the place where you rest your thumb on the side of the mouse have buttons on it.
Mm.
It's weird that more people don't like that. And it's gotten to the point where it's harder to find mice that have the 12 buttons on the side as well.
I don't know. People are just shit.
Razer Naga Pro. Is that the... Yeah, so a Razer Naga Pro has... Is it 9 buttons on it? No, that has a side of it. So if you want an example of a mouse to look up that type of mouse we're talking about, Razer Naga Pro is probably the most popular one that has the 12 buttons. And I actually used this for a while. I prefer my Red Dragon one, actually. That's a bit close to Bad Dragon, but... Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's just better. It's just better. I don't understand it. It's just cool little buttons. And it's got to the point now where I can't play games without those buttons on the side of my mouse. Because stuff like crouching, healing, throwing grenades, using ultimate abilities in games, all of those I do with buttons on the side. And like, you know when you press numbers on a game to like select weapons. Say you've got like on Doom, there's a bunch of weapons on that, isn't there? You can select all of those with the buttons on your mouse. That's way better than having to like stretch your hand across your keyboard. Minecraft is fantastic for Minecraft because the buttons just take you directly to the item you want without having to scroll more precisely every single time. I think you use the Corsair Scimitar.
I do, that is my one.
That's a pretty good one, actually. The one I've got's got a rapid fire button as well. The thing I like about the Corsair Scimitar one is each like row of buttons has a different texture. So 1, 2, and 3 is smooth, and then 4, 5, and 6 is like slightly bumped.
Yeah, it's like bumped.
And then 7, 8, 9 smooth again, and then 10, 11, 12's bumped again. That's pretty cool. I like that. The Razer Naga, they kind of flow with the side of the mouse, so it might be a little bit hard to tell which one you're pressing. But the one I've got, it kind of dips in between 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. And then it dips in between 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12. So your thumb rests on like a slight mound in the middle. So you can tell. It's just better.
Is that a prequel to Malcolm in the Middle when Malcolm was just a baby inside his mum's belly?
I'm ignoring that one. That one's too... we're already talking some right shit in this podcast anyway. Here's one for you, Judd. It's about cheese. And we did a full cheese tier list, but hot take for people who live in our country, because everyone only eats the sharpest, maturest cheddar, because they think, for some reason, the maturer and the sharper the cheddar, the better. But they're fucking wrong, because you don't want cheese to be too sharp. You want it to be quite creamy as well. That's why Red Leicester, best cheese, better than cheddar. Thoughts?
I've got none. I've truly got none. I don't eat cheese, really.
What?
I said I don't really eat cheese. Like, not a whole lot.
But you have all sorts of, like, pizza? Pasta?
Yeah, but, like, come on now. That's not really... Like, I get it. I understand it's there, but I'm not going to call myself, like... And I'm not going to have an opinion on it.
You eat cheese all the time. Like, you know, if you get, like, something from a takeout...
I breathe air all the time. I'm not an oxygen connoisseur.
I think you've probably got enough insight on oxygen to be able to give some thoughts on it. Red Leicester's better than cheddar. Anyway, the pub is better than the club. Going out for a pint in a pub is better than going partying in the club.
Yeah, definitely now. I would have said differently when I was younger, but definitely now I prefer just taking it easier. I'd just rather fucking sit and get pissed up and chat with my mates about bullshit and just like just chat shit instead of fucking having to like.
It's to the point now where I'd almost say home over pub.
Yeah, I think I definitely would.
It's cheaper, and you can like play stupid games together, maybe things like that. That's the best, really. But a pub's definitely better than the club. I mean, even if we go out on a rager,
there's no gross girls at home. You know,
That is
Girls are
true.
gross. Yeah.
Even if we like went out specifically on a rager, we wouldn't go in what you'd call a club.
No.
We'd go to a bar. Like the most kind of club places we would ever go to are bars, really. And bars that are playing kind of loud music, and they might have a dance floor at this bar, but they're not a club, because that's something else, really, isn't it?
I love to imagine me and you being like, yeah, let's go on a fucking ranger, yeah, and then it hard cuts to like us being in this like really run down sort of like Western saloon, some sad music playing. It's like, we'll get along, little like it's just a really depressing scene.
Here's one that I don't know. I think you'll probably agree with me on, but I think nowadays people might not realize it, but it is a hot take. Single player games over multiplayer games.
Jeez, I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 a bit more because they've done a lot of updates on it. They've done a lot of like sort of slice of life updates on it as well. Like, do you remember how we had the complaint of like, oh well, like my character is a corporate character and he'd like to wear suits and stuff, but he ends up wearing like wear really trashy clothes most of the start of time because they've just got better stats, and I just want to wear stuff with better stats. Now they've added like a wardrobe function where you can add clothes to an outfit and save that outfit, and now your character just wears that outfit no matter what they have equipped for like the stats. So they've had a lot of like when
I was playing.
Yeah, they just have like a lot of stuff like that, and it's kind of made me upset because like you've just said. Now I'm like, I really wish I would have played Cyberpunk 2077 like. Not even now, maybe like in another 2 years' time, because then I do actually think it could have been one of my favorite games like ever.
I don't know. There was still there's still problems inherently with like the story and stuff that they can't go back on now.
I think I prefer that setting a lot more to you, and that aesthetic as well. I think it speaks.
I love
to me
it. I love that setting.
But,
I have to say, I'm not sure. I think I probably like it a similar amount. And I was really interested in playing. I wanted to play Space. I want a game where I can play Space Jack Sparrow so bad, and I've just not found one. It just don't work. I tried to do it with what's that Obsidian game? Outer Worlds. That didn't work. That didn't work. Couldn't really play anyone in that. It was a decent game though.
You know what? That game was like just pure mid. Like it was so mid.
I enjoyed it though.
I've not finished it yet. Like I'm probably about halfway through, but I'm like, I know that's what I keep thinking. I'm like looking at it on my desktop right now, and it's like I know I've got more of you to play, but you just mid as fuck.
I finished Shadow of the Colossus, and that was quite mid, really. I think Cyberpunk's like, I don't know. I played it long after it came out. Like, I gave them plenty of time to fix that shit, and it wasn't fucking fixed.
I know.
Most of the time I was playing it, I could still see a lot of trees and bushes on the top layer of the visuals. Yeah. That was the only kind of standout thing, but there was still loads of annoying things, like I had to sacrifice how good my character was because I didn't want him to look fucking stupid all the time.
Yeah, which now that's not a problem, and I'd say that the glitches, I'd say it's no worse than New Vegas for glitches now. Like which for a game released in
the personality of your main character as well. It's not varied enough in the personalities that you can have.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I've done now what I'm doing is I'm playing it again. Essentially, I'm just playing as a different character. But the character, the V that I want to do this time is and she's a nomad, but she's more into like net running. She's really into like sort of like the technical fucking aspect of stuff. Like not with cars like nomads usually are, but like with implants and the bionics and shit. So I want to play her as a lot more reserved and meek and like very new to this life in Night City because she's never lived in a city before. But she's saying shit like she's some sort of some cool guy, some sort of, something cool. And where before us, like that corpo rat I was playing in the first playthrough, that tracked for him because he was supposed to be a douche.
Yeah.
But this character, I'm trying to be more sort of reserved. It don't work. So
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing that as some sort of like psycho. Like I'd want to play it as a nomad, but like some like kind of outcast, like psycho serial killer, essentially type of character. But it's just not there, really, is it? I don't know. Maybe we're wishing for too much from it, but they also led people to believe that you'd get that much out of it as well. So anyway, but
it's just that's just a thing as well. It's like you could have opened your avenues more to that if you just didn't have a voice protagonist. Just have literally all you need. Yeah. It's just like several lines of dialogue you can pick from.
Yeah.
And also another thing that really pisses me off that single player games do as well, that are like multiple dialogue option choices, is they'll show you a bit of something which is sort of what you think the dialogue's going to be. So what I mean is like I don't know. You're playing Cyberpunk and you're in a bar and this guy comes up to you and is like, "Hey, I've got a gig for you." And one of the options might be, "I don't want." It'll literally say, "I don't want any part of this." But you'll click on it, and your guy will go, "I don't want any part in this. In fact, I'm going to blow your brains out, you fucking son of a bitch." And he's like, "Oh, what? I didn't want to do that."
I know. It's difficult. It's difficult to even pull that off, though, so I kind of cut him some slack. But it's just, I don't know. But the main point of what I was saying is single-player games. We've just complained about a single-player game quite a bit. But they're better than multiplayer games, because the problem with a big flaw in multiplayer games is a decent amount of your experience, a lot of your experience, actually, most of it, is down to other people. Now, other people are shit.
Yeah.
So that's they're always going to be terrible. They're always going to be absolute trash. Whenever you go on a video game, you're gonna be racially discriminated against, no matter what race you are. The amount of times I've been called an N-word online, they can't even see me, and I'm white. It's like they ain't got a clue, but they'll call me it. It's ridiculous. You'll get called a pussy constantly. For no reason, whether you do well or not. It's just awful. It's just an awful experience that's too heavily dictated by a bunch of degenerates. And the argument to that is, well, you need to find people to play with your friends. It don't work like that, especially when you're an adult as well. I played a lot with a friend yesterday, and I still ran into a shit ton of awful people because we didn't have enough people to fill a full squad. There was only 2 of us. So if you play like Valorant, for example, that's 5v5. Who's got 4 friends? There's a 10v10 mode in Valorant. I've got 9 friends to play with. You're going to come across some toxic teammates. And then the other side of that is, if someone else is playing with a friend, say in Apex, which is just trios, right? Someone else is playing with a friend, and you're playing solo. If you queue up and they're both cunts, you're outnumbered as well. So it's just trash when it comes to that, and they're inherently super difficult. To balance them is really hard as well. So there's always problems with them because they're a live service game. They have to keep, because online multiplayer games, they have to be live service until they decide they're going to shut them down. They have to keep adding stuff to them to keep people interested so they can make money. But the more they add to it, the more fucked games get. Overwatch was a perfect example of that. I don't know what Overwatch 2's like, but whatever.
It's not out yet, I don't think. I mean, technically, Overwatch 2's been out since 2014 because it's literally just fucking Overwatch 1 but updated. But
the problem, the kind of problem is you keep coming back to multiplayer games because there's nothing like the thrill of winning a battle royale or something like that. There's nothing like the thrill of winning a ranked game and getting a bunch of points.
There's nothing like that thrill of getting a victory #1 royale.
Right, it's addicting, and that's another problem I have with it. Because there's loot boxes and all sorts of shit involved with it, and it's addicting, that kind of thrill. It's almost like boxers who don't know when to retire. You can't stop because it's like you're still chasing the fun of it. Single player games are just better. They're more expansive. They have a better story. They're more enriching for your soul. It's just they're better. If you want to debate me, tweet at Tweets Badly. Nearly every Oscar movie is terrible.
I didn't expect. It's better for your soul.
They are, of course they are.
It's
How
better for
often?
your soul.
How many times have you played a competitive online
No,
multiplayer?
I
'Cause
get
this is
it.
a
I
different
know what
thing.
you're saying.
Because like something like Sea of Thieves, that doesn't count. It's got to be competitive online multiplayer.
No, I
Or
know
just
what you're saying.
competitive multiplayer.
I get it. I just thought it was funny how you're like it's better for your soul.
Well, when one of the options is absolutely soul destroying, and one of them's just
Yeah.
slightly bad for your soul.
Yeah. One of them's like, oh my god, I want to fucking like kill everybody I've just spoke to in the past hour, and the other is, hey, Undertale's fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, another one is nearly every Oscar movie sucks. Almost every movie that's been nominated or won an Oscar is shit and artsy and isn't a good story, and they just give Oscars to stupid things.
Nominated movies.
Let's hear some, Judd.
We've got Parasite's there, which you actually
Can't watch it. Can't read subtitles.
So I thought you said you liked it though. I thought you said you liked it.
No, I can't watch it.
Okay, fair enough. The Power of the Dog. Never heard of it. The Shape of Water. I actually didn't get around to watching the Shape of Water.
Fish fucks someone. It's weird. Stop it. Most of them I haven't watched because I know they're going to be terrible.
Mank.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Hugo.
I
have heard of that. Dune. You didn't like Dune. You like this one. The Revenant.
That's my example that I use. That's fucking terrible, but got nominated. He crawls around for 3 hours.
He crawls around and then he sleeps in a horse. I haven't even heard of most.
They're just trash. They're stupid and they're overhyped. But the only reason anyone ever likes an Oscar film is because it's an Oscar film and you think you're supposed to like it. That's it. Hot take. That's it. And my last one. Speaking of hot takes, hot drinks. Don't like them. They're gross. There's not a single hot drink that I like. I think it's the kind of feeling of warm liquid. That kind of it's just not. It's not that it like grosses me out necessarily. I just don't really like it. It's just like weird.
It's weird. I find it calms me down. A tea definitely calms me down. Like
tea.
Usually when I'm painting, I drink tea. I've just been painting now. I've not had a cup of tea, but I usually drink tea. Almost like just a bit of a ritual as I'm painting, which I find very relaxing. So
I drink 1 cup of tea once every 3 years, approximately. And I'm coming up on my tea drinking time soon. By the end of the year, I'll have drunk a cup of tea. And then it'll be another 3 or so years until I drink another one. I don't know why that is, but I think that's how long it takes me to fancy a hot drink. And the best hot drink is a cup of regular English tea. With, for me, probably... I think the normal way of drinking English tea is tea, 2 sugars, and a splash of milk.
I have tea and 1 sugar. And
if you have any more than 2 sugars, an English person will go, "Ooh, that's a lot."
Yeah. We will in that tone go, "Ooh, that's a lot." And it doesn't matter how many more you go above 3 either. That will always be a reaction. Yeah. You could have asked for 1,000 bits of sugar in your tea. It's like, "Ooh, that's a lot."
Because that's our maximum reaction in England. Like an American, if you asked for 4 sugars in a tea, they'd be like, "God damn, you got a sweet tooth," you know. But in England, they're like, "Oh, that's a lot." You know. But we're outraged. That's our outrage when it comes to tea.
Today on the news, 20 people have been killed in a stabbing. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
So yeah, I don't know. Hot drinks are just quite gross, though. Do you actually like tea, do you think? Or do you just drink it because it's tea. Part of your ritual?
No, I like tea. I do like it. I do think it's the only hot drink that I can think of that I like. I don't even like coffee. If I drink coffee, I'm drinking a frappuccino.
That's not really coffee, though.
It's got coffee in it.
I suppose. I don't like the taste of coffee, like actual coffee flavour. So I don't. So. That's my That's the problem with that. I do, but this is why I've determined that I think hot drinks are just gross in general, because I do like the flavour of tea. Because I'll have an iced tea. I like iced tea. That's good. Especially with some honey and lemon with some iced tea. Delicious, but cold. I only like it cold. When it's hot, it I don't know, it feels wrong, because I don't know whether it's something to do with the fact that out in nature, if we ever drunk something, it would always be cold, right? I mean, there'd be warm milk from a mother, I suppose, but that's it. I think maybe it's a natural response. I don't know. But anyway, those are my hot takes. We've done. It's been a controversial podcast this time. We've talked about some big controversial hot take topics. So what I would like to say is, please don't get too mad at us if we've said anything particularly wrong. We apologise to absolutely fucking nobody. Hey! No, that's just a thing that Conor McGregor said once. But yeah. Hot takes, it's just our thoughts. Don't take us too seriously. We're not trying to fucking offend anyone drastically or do anything evil. Hands up, nice guys. Fine, don't worry about us.
I tried to do evil things, but I don't think it's anything to do with the podcast.
I tried to do evil things, but I can never pull it off. Anyway, that's the end. Bye. Follow us. Twitch streams badly, YouTube streams badly, podcast badly on streaming platforms. Bye.